We were previously in court on August 27th, 2024, where the defendant pled guilty to count 1, menacing by stalking, a felony of the 4th degree, in violation of Revised Code Section 2903.211A1. Count 2, menacing by stalking, a felony of the 4th degree, in violation of Revised Code Section 2903.211A1. Count 5, violating a protection order, a felony of the 5th degree, in violation of Revised Code Section 2919.27A2. Count 7, violating a protection order, a felony of the 5th degree, in violation of Revised Code Section 2919.27A2. And Count 8, criminal damaging a misdemeanor of the 1st degree, in violation of Revised Code Section 2909.06A1. The court ordered a pre-sentence investigation and report and a victim impact statement. The state has had the opportunity to review those reports and is prepared to proceed with sentencing. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reardon?
Your Honor, I have also reviewed the pre-sentence report and psychological assessment. I agree that Mr. Union has been inpatient, or if I can call it that. He's been resident at the Alpha House and treating at the Genesis Center. There's a representative here, Shannon Storm, who is here to offer an update and tell you what has been going on since August the 28th, in addition to what was in the reports. My understanding is that the state and defense are making a joint recommendation to you of community control sanctions. It is my recommendation to you, based on what I read and based on Mr. Union's criminal history and what is significant and relevant here, that the court order community control and order Mr. Union to comply with the recommendations of the assessors, including follow-up treatment and recommendations as indicated. I know that the alleged victim is here and will be making a statement, and it's my understanding...
Well, no longer alleged, right?
Well,
yes.
Correct. My understanding that she will also stand up and say to you that she would like Mr. Union to receive treatment versus incarceration. And I believe, given his history, which is all related to abuse of substances and to his relationship with Lauren, which has been on and off and which is currently on and going very, very well. They do have a young child together that they need to work together to raise properly. And I believe so long as Mr. Union continues to do the things he has been doing, that has a chance. I understand that whatever conditions the court may put upon him, if the court goes along with that recommendation, will be stringent and will also potentially include jail, prison time hanging over his head, that if he doesn't comply with those provisions, then he will suffer those consequences. But I believe he's here before you today to comply. That is his intention, and I believe that the others here will tell you that he's been on a good path to do that, and hopefully the court will agree and give him that chance to do so, Your Honor. Thank you.
Who do you want to speak?
I have Shannon Storm from Alpha House? Genesis Center. Okay.
All right. What do you want me to know?
Well, I'll let you know that Brad has completed his IOP. We had sat and made appointments with Signature Health for him to continue IOP outside of the program, and also mental health counseling. But he has participated in every group that he's been asked for. He's 54 days in. Every drug test that he's taken, we do once monthly. I just brought his recent test with us, gave it to his attorney. His tests have come back negative, and he's done really well on getting himself together.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Union, what do you want to tell me? No, Mr. Union.
Okay. It's been a long road since all this happened, and I would just like to assure the courts that none of this will happen again. I've been working a lot, trying to get my mind right, and I just look forward to starting new and getting my life together once I am able to leave.
Well, why did all this happen?
When you mean all this,
Well, I think there's one incident where you barged into her work and started screaming at her.
oh, that was just in the parking lot of her car. That was just me just looking to answers for our breakup, honestly. We were together and then all of a sudden we weren't, so that was just me looking for some kind of closure.
Well, during the incident, Union showed up at Simpson's lunch break, ripped the door open, and started yelling at her, demanding for his son back. February 13th. That kind of indicates to me you went into the place of work, found where she was.
There was the door of her car.
No?
It was just in the parking
It
lot.
was the door of her car.
Bad report then. What was the GPS tracker doing on her vehicle?
We had a lot of episodes where we were together and she was leaving all the time, disappearing, drinking alcohol with sometimes our son as well, and just me looking for a way to locate her because
So
she
you
would
put
go
the
on.
GPS tracker on her car?
Excuse me?
So you put the GPS tracker on her car,
Yes.
okay? Why did you tell Miss Crook that you didn't put the GPS
Miss-
tracker on her
Who was
car?
Miss Crook?
Miss Crook is the probation officer.
It must have been a miscommunication, and I apologize.
What did he tell you, Jamie?
He told me that it was a rental car and that's why there was a GPS on it, because it was a rental car.
Well,
not-
it was, in fact.
He denied putting the GPS tracker on.
Why did you tell her that?
I do not know. If
Well-
I did miscommunicate that, then I apologize.
That's not a miscommunication, that's a lie, right?
Okay.
Right? So why did you lie to her? Why are you telling me
Because from the
that?
outside, it looks worse than I think it was. However, I do know that it was a mistake doing such things, that's not appropriate to track someone
So-
involuntarily.
So you're here talking to me, so if you're lying to her in the preparation of this report, why am I to believe anything you say? Because you're worried about the appearance of it, so why should I believe
No,
what
I mean,
you're?
I'm not
Because
worried.
now, are you putting on a show for me?
I'm not.
Okay, so why should I believe you when you're lying to her a couple weeks ago?
Because I feel like I am a man of integrity.
Then why are you lying? If you're a man of integrity.
Could be nervous, could be scared.
I know.
I get it.
I just didn't want to look like I was a crazy stalker in the eyes of the courts. That's not what I am.
Well-
Even though these charges imply that I am, but
Well, putting a GPS tracker on who you say is your girlfriend's car kind of makes you look like that, doesn't
yes, I
it?
understand.
Okay.
Yes, I understand.
And so you didn't want me to think that, so you lied to her.
I didn't realize that you would be reading exactly every word that I wrote. It
What
wasn't,
did-
it wasn't about
What does it matter if I was going to read it or not read it? You're trying to curtail your story to your audience then, right? That's what you're telling me.
Not exactly.
No. Okay, so the next day, February 14th, Valentine's Day, you're over at Luke Eddy's house and you shattered the glass on the back deck, the table. Why did you do that?
To be honest, that was an accident. I meant to throw a rock at the roof of the house just to let them know that I was aware, or make them aware that I knew that she was there. It was an
Why?
accident. It was an accident hitting a table. I did not mean to inflict any damage to anyone's property.
Why were you throwing a rock at the roof to let them know you were there?
Because I was hurt at the time. Because two days prior we were together, and then I found out via text message via her that she had a new boyfriend. So I was in a lot of pain. I was hurt, and I was alone. She had my son at some new guy's house that I didn't even know about.
So it's okay then what you did?
I didn't ever. It's not okay.
Okay. It's extreme, is what it is, right? Or not? Is it not extreme?
Yes, it was extreme. The GPS was also extreme.
And yet you told Ms. Crook that you didn't break the table. All you did was walk up and ask, "Are you okay?" and then left. That's what you told Ms. Crook.
That I was there earlier when the Rockins and I was at home, and I spoke to Lauren, and she said that she was in distress, so I went there to check on her.
And broke the table.
That was an earlier instance, maybe 2 or 3 hours earlier.
So you went to Eddie's house twice?
Yes.
Okay. But you told Ms. Crook you didn't break the table. Right?
Yes.
There was an attempted violation of a protection order, a misdemeanor, in October of '22. What was that all about?
October of 22.
October 14th of '22.
Are you saying the first protection order violation?
That's what I'm saying.
That was an instance where I found out that Lauren was at a bar and she had my son in the car with another random gentleman. So I walked inside the bar to confront her about why my son was in the car.
Even
with
though
some
there was a
random guy.
protection order against you.
Yes.
Okay. How long had that protection order been in place?
Not very long.
Okay.
Not that I can recall.
Okay, and then 11 days later, there's a violation of a protection order in Willoughby Court. What was that one all about?
I'm not sure if that was the one we were just speaking to.
No, it's two different ones. One's in Mentor, this one's in Willoughby.
The Willoughby one is the one I was talking about, because I know that took place in Willoughby.
What about the Mentor one?
What happened in the Mentor one, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Well, I'm referring to the conviction you have for attempted violation of protection order. The incident that happened October 14th of '22.
It was an attempt.
That's right.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Who was it domestic violence against in May of '23?
May. That was okay. Is that what you're referring to?
No, this is a different one.
The domestic violence was I was dropping my son off to her apartment. I had to get to work. She didn't answer the door, so I had to open up her window of her apartment to let my son in so I can get to work. And then as I was leaving, I noticed that his juice cup was in my car still. So I was a little bit angry, and I wanted to make sure his juice, and I threw it through the window without even looking inside, and it accidentally hit her on the ear, like right here. So that's what that domestic violence was.
Now, why in the world would I believe that?
Because that is what happened.
So you seem to have like a run of bad luck. After breaking into her apartment, throwing the sipper cup
Yeah, it was juice.
through the window, happens to hit her in the ear. Then you're throwing a rock at a roof, and it happens to break the table. That's just a run of bad luck.
That's probably more a run of bad decisions.
What is your mental health diagnosis?
I'm not sure.
Were you ever evaluated?
Yes. I haven't gotten any results, though, personally.
When were you evaluated?
I believe I did an evaluation when I came to the Genesis Center. I did an assessment. I know I had one at Signature Health maybe a few years ago when we had those domestic violence charges. I believe I had to do an assessment, or that happened, and then I was on probation for that stuff that happened in Willoughby.
Okay, but you don't believe you have any mental health problems, right?
I don't know if I agree with that statement.
Well, you told the psychological evaluator that you deny any history of mental health treatment and do not have any mental health concerns at this time.
No, at that time I did not.
Mr. Union stated, "I don't need any mental health treatment. I just want to be able to return home and get on with my life and fix my relationship with my girlfriend and be there for our son."
I would probably say that we probably need counseling therapy for
For what?
Couples therapy.
Okay, but you don't need any mental health treatment because you don't have any problems. I don't know what world you're living in, because this stuff has been going on for 2 years. Bizarre stuff been going on for 2 years, and you don't have any mental health problems? What drug problems do you have?
Currently, no drug problems.
What
Thank the
drug
Lord.
problems have you had?
I was using Klonopin, not as a drug habit. However,
As
it
what?
was a once every few months kind of thing.
For what?
Just anxiety.
Where'd you get that?
Lawrence prescribed it.
You're taking somebody else's meds?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that you use that you shouldn't have been using?
No.
What about marijuana?
Yes, I have smoked weed from time to time.
Benzodiazepines.
That's Klonopin.
Okay. What about alcohol?
Do drink occasionally socially, not as it was an alcoholic or anything, not frequently.
You like them to minimize all of your problems. That's what you did when you went through the pre-sentence report interview. It's what you did when you went through the psychological interview. So it seems to me you're a guy that's biding your time here. Tell me what you think I want to hear to get as minimal a sanction as possible. That's how you strike me.
I'm sorry that comes across that way.
Well, it only comes across that way because that's how it is. So what do you think it is you should do if you're put on probation?
I would fully intend on continuing IOP treatment.
Well, I thought you were done with the IOP.
At the Genesis Center, yes, I have completed there, but I fully intend on continuing that.
Where?
Signature Health was the first place I was going to look to.
Did you start there?
I haven't been able to because I've been at the Genesis Center. And the
The
Alpha House?
Genesis Center was for the IOP, right?
It was PHP and IOP.
And the Alpha House is a sober living facility,
Yeah,
right?
but when you're at the Alpha House, you go to the Genesis Center 5 days a week
Right.
for 4 hours.
Okay. So your goal is to get home as soon as possible, right?
That's what I would like to do, but I would like to continue getting some kind of help once I leave the Alpha House, if I do in fact leave.
Okay. Help for what?
Just life's problems,
Like what? What do you mean?
dealing with relationships, Klonopin, alcohol, some marijuana. Just trying to be a good citizen, and be there to raise my children.
So you're telling me you never had a mental health evaluation, right?
I believe that I did have one when I was at Signature Health. When I was on probation, they made me get an evaluation for probation there. I
When was
believe.
that?
Excuse me?
When was that?
2 years ago, possibly.
Okay. So am I to assume that this nonsense that's been going on is all of a sudden going to stop?
I'm hoping that it will stop. Yes, that's my intent, not to do any of this craziness anymore.
Well, I would hope that would be your intention,
Yes, it is.
okay? But this is your actions are very concerning to me. I mean, one of these incidents, she's taking the trash out and hears footsteps and it's you coming toward her. And then you grab her by the arm. What was that all about?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Well, I'm referring to the time that she was taking out the garbage, turned around, and you were coming at her. And then eventually caught her and grabbed her arm. So what was that all about?
I don't recall what the instance was, but I'm sure it was just me looking for answers to why we were together a few days prior. Then
What?
all of a sudden there was a protection order.
Well, you just don't go up to the drugstore and get a protection order. You gotta go through a process to prove certain facts before a protection order gets issued, okay? So you're just kind of like an innocent bystander and she's out to get you for whatever reason, is what you're kind of telling me.
I can't speak onto the reasons the protection orders were filed or the thoughts that she had while filing them.
Now, didn't this have something to do with her breaking up with you or some nonsense like that?
What do you mean by that? It had to do with her using a protection order as a way to break up with me.
Why was she breaking up with you? And if she was breaking up with you, why didn't you respect that decision and stop pestering her?
I was just looking for some closure to why.
Okay,
I was.
what makes you think you're entitled to that closure?
I guess I was.
If she doesn't want to give it to you, what makes you think you're entitled to it? That's your problem. You think you're entitled to what you want, when you want it, how you want it. That's your problem. If she tells you to blow off today, then that's the end of it, right?
Yes.
But not with you. That's my concern about you. Sit down. Sarana.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that Ms. Simpson would like to make a statement to the court prior to the state making their recommendation.
What do you want to tell me?
I'd just like to comment on how quickly this turned into a dumpster fire. I think he's terrified of the consequences that are coming his way potentially, and I.
Oh, he should be.
Yes, and I also agree with you that he is downsizing this regarding, like downplaying this, regardless of some of those shaded comments. I'm very proud of him. I am entitled to some help with my child, as he is a father, and he was a loving one, and he has been a great one until he started having some drug and alcohol problems. And we both kind of cyclically had some of those problems together. I am not faultless in this. I did not do some of those extreme things, or any of those extreme things, but I didn't exactly not provoke some of the situation as well. This is the best I've seen him look in years. I have taken my son up to the Alpha House to visit him apprehensively, and I was just seeing him when I came in here, I almost had a mental breakdown because he looks great and he's doing great. And the things I hear from the people he's been around at the Alpha House, I haven't seen this in years. And I do think that he is going to, I know that he is going to do what he's telling you he's going to do. This is scaring him, and he is not good at opening his face and saying intelligent things. It's never been his strong suit. But this is not something that's going to be a repeat, and it's not going to be something that I'm going to cyclically provoke as well. I'm proud of him, and I think he is a man of integrity. He's going to do well in society given the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Sarana.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just to touch on a couple of things that were spoken about with the defendant here. In addition to the tracker and the showing up at boyfriend's houses and all just taking out the trash, there was a pattern of incessant phone calling as well that, I mean, in certain days went up to 379 calls in one day, 231 calls in one day, 199 calls
How
in
do you
one day.
physically do that?
130 calls, 155 calls. These are all within January and February, so leading up to these offenses. So I do think that there is a significant mental health component to this. The state did agree as part of the plea to recommend community control sanctions, and the defendant has not violated his bond since he has been in treatment. The state is going to continue to recommend community control sanctions. However, even the most recent bond violation for the OVI in July involved the defendant at 2 a.m. crashing his vehicle, drunk, looking for Ms. Simpson with their 4-year-old son in the car. I think that shows as recently as July that there is not only an issue with alcohol and substances, but an issue still with this relationship with Ms. Simpson. And so the state is going to ask that you adopt the recommendation of the probation department. I would also specifically ask for mental health treatment outside of just the drug treatment and the IOPs, and outside of couples counseling, like actual mental health treatment, because whether or not the defendant wants to state that that's a problem, I think it's clear from the fact that that is something that has contributed to all of this behavior. Thank you.
What were you doing driving around with your son at 2 in the morning?
I was worried.
Why were you riding around with your son under the influence at 2 in the morning?
I believe there was a test that there was
I
not
wasn't an influence of alcohol. I blew a .01 at the police department. However, I was under the influence of Klonopin that day. We had an argument.
Okay, so you were under the influence of a drug.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
It affected me in a way that I wasn't aware it was going to affect me. I had one shot of alcohol to go with it, and I've been told that that's a very dangerous combination that I was unaware of at the time. We had an argument earlier that day, and I didn't hear from her for 6, 7, 8 hours.
How old are you?
38 years old.
Okay, this having an argument with your girlfriend and getting mad about it, and driving around looking for her, it's probably more appropriate for like a 16-year-old than a 38-year-old.
Yes.
Okay. Are you stuck?
When we get in arguments, usually when she disappears like this, she goes to the bar, and I was worried about her getting intoxicated at a bar.
So what did you do? Check different bars?
Yes, she has a few local bars that she hangs out at.
I'm going to place you on community control for 5 years. You're going to serve 47 days in the jail with credit for 47. You're going to remain at the Alpha House Sober Living Facility for a minimum of a total of 6 months. You're going to continue your aftercare, or if you haven't started the aftercare, you're going to start the aftercare, complete it, and follow all recommendations. You're going to get a mental health evaluation, a new one. You're going to follow all the recommendations. You're going to attend at least 3 AA meetings a week and obtain a sponsor and maintain a sponsor. You're to utilize only 1 doctor and 1 dentist and 1 pharmacy for any prescription medication. If you are prescribed medication, you're to take it only as prescribed. And sign releases for probation to get your records, and to get a valid driver's license, obtain and maintain full employment, and pay the costs and supervision fees. Anything else, Ms. Crook?
We were recommending no contact with them.
Okay. You understand all the terms?
Did you say I have to stay at the Alpha House for 6 months?
6 months total. I was going to ask, is that 6 months from August 28th or 6 months from now?
Go ahead.
Some of the things that you're ordering over at the Alpha House, he will not be allowed to do because it's so constricted and to where they're not allowed to work.
Okay, well,
They're not allowed to, like, there's so many different things, but he can continue IOP at the Genesis Center,
okay.
staying at the Alpha House.
Well, I don't care where he does the IOP or the aftercare, just that he does it. And if you can't work while you're there, then when you get out, you'll work. So I assume you can get a mental health evaluation, right?
Yes, we can send him out to, if he stays with the Genesis Center, I can help him through,
Okay.
venture through all those things, getting his driver's license.
Okay.
Setting him up for the mental health evaluations and stuff. So if you keep him at the Genesis Center, that I can help him with. I can help him with all those things that you listed.
Okay, then that's what you're gonna do. You got any questions?
Did you get the answer to your question? Is it
6 months from August 28th or 6 months from now?
6 months total.
Total. All right, so that's from August 28th.
So I have to remain at the Alp House
At the
for
Alp
another
House.
4 months?
Correct.
Okay.
And it's clear that you don't want to. It's clear you
I
want to leave
just-
now.
I have a 4-year-old that dearly misses me and that I need him as much as I
So,
need him.
so why don't you figure out how to live your life like a 38-year-old, okay? And then you won't have people telling you where you have to live and when you have to live there and how long you have to live there and live a normal life for a 38-year-old. That's the answer. You got problems that you may or may not resolve. And your attitude here today is you want to get the hell out of here with as little as possible, as soon as possible, and aren't really concerned with addressing the problem that you have, the problems that you have. So you're going to fail. None of this means anything. You're going to fail because you don't want to do this stuff. Any other questions? Is that a no?
No.
Okay. Now, if you do not comply with each and every one of these terms, the state will file a motion to terminate your community control, and if I find you violated, I'll terminate it, and you'll go to prison for 60 months. 60, 5 years, you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then when you get out, you might be on post-release control to the parole authority, and then they'll put conditions on you. They'll tell you what you have to do. And if you don't listen to them, then they could send you right back to prison for up to 9 months each time you violate, up to 1/2 of the 60 months that I give you. And if your violation's a new felony, then in addition to getting prosecuted for that, you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for the violation. And you'll do either 12 months or the time left under post-release control, whichever is more. As you sit there and shake your head in disbelief that you're having to endure all this stuff.
I've endured a lot, Your Honor.
No, you screwed around a lot, breaking the law a lot, doing things you're not supposed to be doing a lot. You haven't endured shit, okay?
Okay.
Now, if you want, I can just send you to prison. You won't have to be on probation.
Please
You
do not
want
do
that?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Haranik?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Reardon?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Now, whether I see you again, Mr. Union, is completely up to you. You don't want to see me again? Do what you're supposed to do and live like an adult.